The storm over the Martian desert howled like a beast in pain. Rust-colored dust swirled across the horizon, swallowing the world in a haze of crimson and static. Inside the cracked remains of a downed research vessel, Dr. Ethan Cole sat alone, his helmet light flickering weakly as oxygen levels blinked red on his suit display. He had crash-landed 7 hours ago. His comms were dead, his leg was fractured, and his water recycler was nearly out. He had studied Mars for a decade, but he had never expected to die here. Lightning arced across the thin atmosphere, illuminating the twisted wreckage. Ethan took a slow, painful breath. "So this is it," he murmured. "All the data in the world, and I'll never get to share it." But then he heard it. A whisper. Soft, melodic. A voice that didn't belong to the wind. "You are not alone." Ethan froze. His hand moved toward the emergency pistol on his belt, but before he could draw it, the air around him shimmered. The dust seemed to part as if afraid of something. And then she appeared. She wasn't human. Her body shimmered like liquid glass, her hair a halo of blue light that flickered like flame. Her eyes glowed with the same hue as the twin moons above, filled with an emotion Ethan couldn't name. "You shouldn't be here," she said softly. Ethan blinked, unable to speak. I could say the same to you." The alien tilted her head. "You bleed warmth. You're hurt." He looked down. His leg wound had soaked through the bandages. "I'll manage," he muttered, though his voice shook. She stepped closer, the air vibrating with each movement. "No, you won't." Before he could react, she knelt and pressed her palm to his leg. Ethan gasped. The pain vanished instantly, replaced by a sensation like falling through sunlight. His veins tingled and his breath steadied. When she withdrew her hand, the wound was gone. Ethan stared. How did you do that?" Her gaze lingered on him, unreadable. "We were not meant to meet your kind. But something called me here. Something in you." He laughed shakily. "I'm just a scientist. The only thing I call is bad luck." The alien smiled faintly, as if humoring a child. "Perhaps." They spent the night huddled in the broken craft, the storm raging outside. She said her name was Lyara, though she admitted it was only the closest human sound to what her people used. She came from beneath the surface, an ancient civilization that hid from human sensors, existing in the geothermal caverns below the Martian crust. "We have watched your species from the shadows," she whispered. "You burn worlds before you understand them. But you listen." Ethan felt a strange warmth in her words, something deeper than curiosity. He couldn't stop staring at her eyes that seemed to pulse with starlight itself. When the storm faded, Lyara guided him across the sands toward the entrance of a canyon, where veins of glowing blue crystal lit the path below. The deeper they went, the less his mind could comprehend. Cities built from living light pulsed beneath the rock, and beings like Lyara floated between crystalline spires, their voices resonating in harmonic waves. "Your people would call us energy," Lyara said, leading him across a bridge of transparent stone. "But we are alive, bound to the pulse of this world." Ethan felt tears sting his eyes. This changes everything. You're proof of life beyond Earth." Lyara turned to him. "Would your kind protect what they cannot own?" He hesitated. "Maybe not all of us, but I would." For a long moment, she studied him in silence. Then she stepped closer, so close he could feel the hum of her energy against his chest. "Your words stir something in me," she whispered. "But my kind forbids this connection. It changes what we are." Ethan swallowed hard. "Then why did you save me?" Her gaze softened. Because when I looked into your dying eyes, I saw a reflection of my own loneliness. Before he could respond, she reached up, fingertips grazing his cheekplate. One moment, she breathed. One kiss. Then you'll understand. The air shimmered. Ethan's heart raced as her lips brushed his. No flesh, no warmth, just light and electricity flooding through him like a solar storm. He gasped as visions filled his mind. Galaxies being born, oceans on Mars, her memories, her fears. He felt her essence, pure and eternal, woven into his own. When it ended, he fell to his knees, trembling. What did you do to me? Lyara's eyes glistened. I gave you part of me. Now you can survive here. But it comes with a price. He reached out desperate. What price? She stepped back, fading like mist. You'll feel it soon. You'll need my energy to live. And then she was gone. Weeks passed. The rescue ship found Ethan wandering the desert, miraculously alive. His body generating strange energy readings. Doctors called it impossible. His eyes glowed faintly in the dark, and no medicine could explain it. But Ethan knew. Every night when he closed his eyes, he heard her voice. Just one kiss. He could feel her heartbeat inside him, an echo that refused to fade. He tried to move on, to work, to sleep. But the pull grew stronger, a gnawing emptiness in his chest that only her presence could fill. Until one night, under the Martian sky, he walked alone to the canyon where she had first appeared. The blue veins still shimmered beneath the sand. Lyara, he called, voice breaking. You said I'd understand. Please come back. The air rippled. Light flared around him. And there she was. Lyara's expression was unreadable as she floated closer. You came back. Ethan nodded, tears streaming down his face. I can't live without you. Her gaze softened. Nor I without you. But once we join fully, you can never return. He smiled weakly. I wasn't planning to. She reached for him, and when their hands met, the world dissolved into light. The next morning, the canyon was empty, except for two faint silhouettes burned into the rock, glowing softly in the Martian dawn. The wind howled across the Martian canyon as Ethan stood beneath the twin moons, the whisper of Lyara still echoing in his chest. The ground pulsed faintly, blue veins glowing under the sand as if alive, calling to him. He had tried to fight it. Weeks back on the orbital station had been torture. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't breathe without feeling her absence hollowing him from within. Every heartbeat carried her voice, soft, melodic, pleading. You carry my light, she had said, but it will fade without me. Now, standing where they had first met, Ethan understood. He hadn't been cursed. He'd been chosen. Lyara, he whispered into the wind. I'm ready. The air shimmered. Dust lifted into spirals of light, and then she was there, glowing, radiant, tears made of starlight falling down her cheeks. You shouldn't have come, she breathed, though her voice trembled. I had no choice, Ethan said, stepping forward. You said one kiss would make me understand. Now I do. Lyara's hands rose, hovering over his chest. Once we're joined, your body will end. You'll live as light, bound to me, to this world. He smiled faintly. Then I'll finally belong somewhere. For a heartbeat she hesitated, then pressed her lips to his. The canyon erupted in blinding radiance. The sand melted into glass. The wind stilled. When the light faded, Ethan's suit lay empty on the ground, its edges glowing faintly blue. Deep beneath the planet's surface, two forms of energy intertwined, human and alien, pulsing together like twin hearts. And across the Martian night, if one listened closely,